It is very early in the morning. I am in the library of my home. So I'm live streaming, and I figured since I was up reading, I might as well share my reading with you guys. Hello, hello. Hello, Raisin 3 and Philly fans. Hello, hello. I figured since I'm up, I might as well share my reading experience with you guys. So I've been up reading. It's snowing here in Philadelphia. It's snowing, so it's pretty cold outside. But I've been up here reading. Um, and I have a couple of things on tonight's or early morning live extreme that I would like to talk with you guys about. Um, and get your input as well. Get your input as well. Um, the first thing I wanted to talk about was dreams. Dreams. Do you have any dreams? And if you do you know the meaning of your dream? Um, I believe when you sleep, you go into a what they call subliminal consciousness, where your brain is awake enough to keep your bodily functions intact, which is your brain lets your body know, hey, we still wants to breathe, so and so. And mentally, as you sleep, your brain is supposedly be resting. But did you know that your brain doesn't not always rest? Like it doesn't rest. The only way to make your brain rest is to meditate. That's right. Meditation is the key to resting your brain. So when you meditate and you focus on one thing, which is your breathing, and just try your best to not, and I repeat, to not think of anything. Usually when you do that, your meditation is not only stronger, but it's very helpful and it helps you out. Meditation is good for the brain. It helps keep your brain healthy, um, keeps it alert. The brain actually needs to rest. It needs to take a break, especially in this world that we live in. There's so much going on all the time. And with everything going on in your life and around you, your brain don't always get a chance to rest. So it's good that your brain actually gets a chance to rest. Hello, hello. That your brain actually gets a chance to rest. Meditation is very good for that. Now, I choose to meditate. When I meditate and focus on Jesus when I meditate. Now, meditation, or how can I say, the act or the training of meditation, I believe was most practiced in the Buddhist religion. However, hello, Black Cloud AK-45, hello. I'm doing fine. How are you? All right. Staying warm, are you? Staying warm, hopefully? All right. Like and subscribe. Need your support. So what I'm talking about, Black Cloud, was I was talking about dreams and meditation. I've been up reading, and sometimes when I don't get a good sleep, I just choose to, get a book and read. And I was reading about meditation, and then I was also reading about dreams. And I wanted to ask you, Black Cloud, do you have any dreams? Like when you sleep sometime, do you out of nowhere have a dream while you're sleeping? Well, as I was saying, sometimes when you're having a dream, most dreams, believe it or not, is meant for you to have. Yeah, most dreams are meant for you to have. Now, before I get into that, let's first talk about the act of sleeping. When you sleep, what is happening when you sleep? What is happening? There's two major things that's happening. First of all, health-wise, your brain, which controls the nervous system, is still functioning. It's keeping the rest of your body organs awake and alive. It's telling it, hey, I need you to breathe. I need the heart to continue pumping, bring oxygen. I need the blood to continue flowing throughout the body. And hello, Adriana. Hello, hello. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I need your support. Thank you very much for joining early this morning. Well, I don't know what time it may be that you're coming from, but here in Philadelphia, it's early in the morning. Thank you for joining the live stream. When I cannot sleep, I usually read a book. And what I am talking about right now is about dreams. Adriana, do you have any dreams? So that's what I'm talking about, dreams. So, but before I get into dreams, I was talking about what the brain actually does. So the brain, you slip into your subliminal consciousness, which is you're still breathing and you're still alive at the same time. Yes, it's still Saturday. Well, yes, Saturday night, early morning. It's 3 a.m. in the morning here in Philadelphia. Black Cloud, AK-45. I don't know if you're, from the United States, but yes, over here in the United States, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. So your body slips into the subliminal state of mind where you're still breathing, but your brain is not really resting. So what I was talking about was, how does meditation come in with this? Meditation helps to train your brain to actually rest. So when you meditate, your brain is actually resting. Is actually, I don't want to say stopping, but it's resting pretty much. That's why it's so important to meditate. Because when you meditate, you're taking years off your consciousness just from meditating. That's how deep meditation is. In the Buddhist religion, they meditate, they focus on Buddha. I'm not Buddhist, I respect that religion. I believe in Jesus, so therefore when I pray and when I meditate, I focus on Jesus. You may focus on whatever higher power that's, works for you. But for me, it's Jesus. So therefore, when I meditate, I focus on Jesus, and it helps me to, you focus on your breathing, and I focus on what God has done for me, and it just brings me down to a very calm place where most of the time after I get finished meditating, I can sleep. I actually can sleep after I get finished meditating. Sometimes I slip right into it. Yeah. Thank you for subscribing, Black Cloud AK-45. Thank you for subscribing, Adriana is the bro. Thank you for subscribing. Hello, Owen. Thank you. Yes, praise God. Yes, praise God. And so now I can talk about dreams. Owen, make sure you subscribe, Owen. Now I can talk about dreams, because for those just joining, I was just talking about what happens when you sleep. Your brain slips into a subliminal consciousness. Your body is still awake and alive because you're breathing, but your brain is actually in a subliminal consciousness state. So you go into what's called REM 3, REM 2, okay? Many times while you're in that state, many times you can have a dream. And what I was saying was that when you have a dream or when you have these dreams, some dreams are actually meant for you to have. Some aren't. Some dreams are just, I call it an exercement of energy. In other words, if you ate a meal, let's say you ate a meal at 11 o'clock last night. You decide to go to sleep. You decide to go to sleep, on a full stomach. If you have eaten, this is how powerful food is. If you have eaten green peppers, any one of these three vegetables, green peppers, hot chili peppers, or onions, if any one of those three vegetables were in whatever you was eating, there's a good chance you're going to have what I like to call a crazy dream, where it's like, I don't know, you're dreaming that you're sliding down a mountain or something, a dream that basically doesn't make any sense at all. It's just like, there's no anchor to it. It's just like a crazy dream. You can have dreams like that has nothing to do with God telling you anything or anything. It's just something of your healthness. So if, like I said, if you didn't burn that energy up, you decide to eat 11 o'clock at night and you decide to go to bed, you're sleeping on that food, and especially if it's got, strong seasoning in it, those vegetables are very powerful, goes into your digestive system. Everything goes up to your brain, your ATP energy, your adrenal triphosphate energy, which is your brain juice. That's right, it gets into your brain juice. Once it gets into your brain juice, guess what? Guess what? You're bound to have a crazy dream. You're just bound to have one. But that's if you're eating, if you're eating late like that. It's not. That's why it's not good to eat late. It's not good to eat late anyway. Any way you look at it, because first of all, if you eat real late at night, there's a good chance you're gonna have indigestion too. So you're gonna have a lot of heartburn problems, stomach ulcer problems. It's not good to eat late. It's just really not good. Anyway, getting back to the dreams. So now, sometimes you can have a dream that's like real, I call it real, where you kick the bed. Like, you feel like, oh my God, like I just lived that dream. Like, oh my gosh. Many times I have dreams sometimes and I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is that going to come true or what? Or, or sometimes I ask myself, why did I dream that? Why did I have that dream? That's, I think, most human beings' biggest question is why? Why did I have that dream? What made me think of that? And it is at that time that you have to say to yourself, is God trying to tell me something? Because sometimes in dreams, he is talking to you. Sometimes. Now, the key point is you got to realize who is talking to you. If it's God or if it's the other person. Yeah. So, now, do know this. The other person, God has control over the other person too. So guess what? He can use them to get a message over to you. That's just how powerful he is. So, sometimes when you have dreams, it's good to write them down. Write down on a piece of paper what you are dreaming. For example, hypothetically speaking, if you was dreaming of, I don't know, a cow running through your house, whatever, write it down on a piece of paper. And you would be surprised. You would be surprised that usually within 24 to 48 hours after you had that dream, the connections to that dream will start happening for you. For example, let's say you go to bed and you have a dream about, oh, you know what? I'm gonna use the very popular dream that I hear a lot of teenagers and a lot of young people have this dream, which is they're falling. they're falling out the sky, or they're falling off a mountain, off a cliff or something. Now, that the fallingness is very deep. But a lot of people don't know that that's actually a good thing. Did you know that when you fall, you're moving? So, what that means, something is progressing in you. Now, the key point is it good that's progressing in you, or is it bad that's progressing in you? So, you have to ask yourself that. Only you know the question, only you know the answer to that question. So, you know, you have to take accountability for your dream. And you have to figure out what your dream is trying to tell you. Listen, let me tell you something. God spoke to prophets in the Bible through their dreams. The most populous prophet in the Bible who God used his dream was Joseph. Okay? Joseph was a dreamer, but he was also an anointed dreamer. In other words, he had a gift of dreams. In other words, God gave him dreams, and then he seen other dreams. He seen dreams in other people, and then he just had the gift of dreams all the way around. So, hello, Brookster. Hello. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for joining my live stream. Thank you for joining my live stream. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm talking about dreams. We're discussing dreams. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for joining my live stream. Nothing wrong with that. At least you're working on it. Got to start somewhere. I always tell people you got to start somewhere. Don't don't feel bad. Oh, well, I'm working on this. You got to start somewhere. You got to make the first step somewhere. And I always say, you got to take accountability for whatever it is that that you can change about yourself. If you see something bad in yourself, and come on now. Everybody knows it could be something that you don't like about yourself. Like, man, I should never did that. I don't know why I did that. That wasn't right. Well, guess what? You can change that. It may take time, but you can change that. And especially with the help of God, you really can change it. Like if you get God in your life, you going up. I'm telling you. It don't always look like that. It don't always look like it, but you are. Okay? So, but yeah, going back to the dreams. So when you're falling, if you're having a dream that you're falling off a cliff or falling through the sky or just falling, period, what that means is that you're actually progressing. You simply gotta ask yourself, what are you progressing in? Are you progressing in sin? Are you progressing in something bad? Or are you progressing in something good? But to fall means actual movement. And God is movement. There's nothing still about God. So God is about progression. He's about movement. That's why when he created us, the human beings, we're made to move. That's why when we stop moving, what happens? Body aches. We start hurting. Oh my God, arthritis. Oh, because our body is created to move. It's created to move. So, all right. I don't know about that. The Silver Beetle, Brookster. I don't know about that. Have you subscribed to my channel, Brookster? 4525. Have you subscribed? Did work on consulting with God first? Yeah. I think that's what you meant to say, God, but say God, but yeah. 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 And, but dreams are meant for you. Sometimes, now me, I have a gift of dreams. In other words, I can interpret other people's dreams. So somebody can tell me a dream that they have, and I could tell them exactly what it's saying to them, what that dream is trying to tell them. Some people can come to me with fragments. I'm gonna call it like that. Fragments of their dream, and I'm able to put the pieces together and deliver the message to them of whatever it is that they need to hear. So that is one of my gifts that God given everybody plenty of gifts. Just like he said in his words, some people got 5 gifts, some people got 10, some people got 2, some people, but everybody got a gift in one way, shape, or the other. You really had your platinum beetle in it? That one I don't know about. I would have to think about that one. I would have to get back to you on that one, Brookster. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. But yeah, so dreams can have a lot of meanings. It's good to do research on your dream. If you're having a dream that you feel as though is a bad dream, one thing for certain, you got to pray. So if you feel as though you are having a bad dream, first of all, pray and ask God, what is he trying to tell you? And then if at that point you cannot wait, and this happens because not everybody is strong in the Lord now. If you feel like you don't have the patience within yourself to wait to hear the answer of God, then what you need to do is to focus on right at that point. Start doing right. In other words, the things that you can change about yourself and you can do right, start right then and there doing it. And then eventually, the message, you will, believe it or not, over time, you will get the answer that you need to hear. So dreams are very powerful, very powerful. Premonition dreams are powerful too. And and you know what I like too? I like those aha moment dreams. Like, for example, I could share this with you guys. So this was about 5-6 months ago. I was with my granddaughter. I don't know if y'all know I have a granddaughter. I was with her. We was in a certain area of Philadelphia. We was in a certain area. And I had her with me that day because my daughter dropped her off and it was my day to watch her. So, so I took her to a playground that was behind the Wawa. Wawa is my favorite place. But it was behind Wawa. And it was a playground. And it was in the Ridley Park area. People who are in Ridley Park, they probably know what I'm talking about, who live in Ridley Park. If you live in Ridley Park, then you know what I'm talking about, that area. There's a Wawa there, there's a school, and then there's a playground right before the school. Anyway, long story short. So I took my granddaughter to that playground. She's, pretty young, toddler. We're playing in the playground, and all of a sudden, it was like this moment where I felt like it was a deja vu moment. And I couldn't explain it. I kept looking around and I was like, why does this area feel so strange to me? Like, I couldn't get it. I was just like, I don't know what's that about. Like, it just felt so strange. Like, I don't know. And then my spirit said, this area is going to be a vested place for you. That's what my spirit man said to me. It said, this area is going to be a vested place for you. So I heard it and I'm just like, well, okay. I don't understand what's going on, but all right. So I took my granddaughter, and after we got finished playing, I went back to the car and went about my business, went about my day. Now remember, that was 5 months ago. Do you want to know what happened, folks? Why I was brought to that area? Well, I met a person from my job that lived near that area that I used to take my daughter to the playground at. Then on top of that, that same area, I had got a job offer in that area. Then on top of that, there was a church that I was fellowshipping with heavily that was, guess what, in that area. So I was like, wow. So the funny thing is, I had forgotten that my spirit told me that. I really did, because I got so boggled down with life. I had forgotten that the spirit had told me that. Next thing you know, about 3 weeks ago, when I took my granddaughter back to that same spot, I was like, oh my gosh, it all came full circle. It all came full circle. Like, I knew at that point what the spirit was saying. It was like, you had this experience here, you did this here, you got your job offer here. Like, this whole area is what I was telling you 5, 6 months ago, that this was going to be a vested area for you. And I was like, wow, wow. So that was like a premonition type thing. So, you can have them too, premonitions. Now, people often ask me, they said, Taya, will God give you a bad dream? And you know what I tell them? What do you mean? And they say, well, Taya, will God give you a bad dream? Like, in other words, if he's angry with you, would he give you a bad dream? So this is what I always tell them. First of all, I always tell people, I said, for some reason, people, and I highly emphasize some people don't believe that God has limits. He does have limits. He came down in the form of the Son of Man, and he himself got angry when they were selling in the temple. He got so angry to a point that he took a whip and started whipping the people in the temple for selling products in the temple of God. So, why am I saying this? I'm saying this to you, if God himself can get angry, can you imagine how us human we have just an ounce of the power that God has in him, that God has in us. Hello, nocturnal night. Hello, how are you? God bless you, and welcome to my live stream. And thank you very much for joining in. I hope you subscribed, liked, and subscribed, or at least subscribed if you didn't like. You said, is that channel about dreams? Yes, about this particular live stream is. Yes. Yes, I'm talking about dreams and the purpose of dreams. Why do you have them? We're talking about everything. Meditation. And then I was telling people, well, you're just joining, so I could go through it real quick. So basically, I opened it up by talking about the brain resting. When you sleep, your body goes through a subliminal rest, meaning your brain does not stop working. It tells the brain is the control center of the body, so it tells the heart to continue to allow you to breathe, but it doesn't really rest. But when you meditate, like I was telling people earlier, that when you meditate, like what Buddhists do in the Buddha religion, I'm not Buddhist. I highly respect that religion. I'm not Buddhist, but I do meditate. I meditate on Jesus, but the practice of meditation I do in the same way that Buddhists do, but I just don't say Buddha, I say Jesus. So meditation, what that does is that it allows the brain to rest. When the brain rests, that's good. You bring years off your consciousness level. You bring years off yourself. Like, because it actually goes against the aging and the grain of the universe when you meditate. That's how deep it is. So it's like you slow down. Oh, the best way I can describe it is almost like the Matrix. You know how, like, when the Matrix, when it first come out, all you see is numbers going like up and down, move like this. Well, guess what? When you meditate, you're slowing down the numbers. You're slowing them down. So they're gracefully going down. So guess what? Being that it's graceful, anything that's graceful is going to be healthy for the human body, because we live in a world where everything is just popcorn. Everything is just, moving, 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 you know. So that's one of the things I was talking about. Do you know about sleep paralysis? I don't know that much about. That's interesting. I don't know that much about sleep paralysis. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, I don't know that much about that. Hello, Joanna Vera. Hello. Hi, how are you? Hello. Like and subscribe, Joanna Vera. Thank you. I need your support. I need your support. Like and subscribe whenever you get a chance. I've had it twice. Oh, wow. You've had it twice? Wow. I'm going to write that down. I got to look that up. Sleep paralysis. That is interesting. All right. I'm going to get back with you on that nocturnal night. I'm going to get back with you on that. So hopefully on my next live stream, you'll tune in and I could tell you what I found out, what may be of some help for you, whatever. But dreams, sometimes when you have dreams, thank you. Thank you. I need all the love and I like to give love at the same time. What I want to say is dreams, when you have dreams, there's a meaning, there's a purpose for you having a dream. If you have a dream, you're not just having a dream just to have a dream. You're having a dream because there's something that's being meant for you to experience. Something in your spirit that is meant for you to be manifested. And then sometimes, if it ain't the first two things I just said, it could be the last and the least thing and the most popular, which is God could simply be trying to talk to you, So when you have dreams, you have to investigate them. You have to, like I tell my girl, when I have a lot of friends, let me take that back. I have a lot of associates. I have very few friends. I always tell my friends and my associates, though, if you have a dream, write that dream down on a piece of paper, because usually within the first 48 hours of having that dream, something in your day is going to connect with it. So in other words, if you're having a dream about, and I mean, it could be a crazy dream. Like you could be having a dream about, I'm just trying to think of something crazy. I don't know, a squirrel running across the road. And you may wake up and say, why in the world did I have a dream about a squirrel running across the road? Like, what is this? But guess what? Write it down. Because guess what? God could be talking to you. Yes. So he may be using that squirrel to say, listen, you're that squirrel. You need to get off the road. You need to get off the bad road of life and get on the right road. So you never know. So you got to write down whatever you're dreaming, okay? Write it down on a piece of paper. Investigate it. Talk about it. Look it up. Talk to some, if you know pastors, preachers, or somebody that's spiritual, or how I like to call it, the aura, like how the lady was in the Matrix movie. She was the aura. If you know somebody like that, talk to them about that. But dreams have a meaning. They have a purpose. You're not just having a dream just to have it, okay? That's what I want to tell y'all. All right? Thank you very much for joining. My time is just about up, people. I got 2 minutes left. First time was Little Shell whispering. Second time it happened in 2021. I still haven't forgotten it. It was shadow figures. Oh, whenever you see shadow figures, those are usually spirits. Now, you got to determine. Now, the thing is, when you see shadow figures, because let me tell you something about shadow figures. If you see dark shadow figures, you have to determine whether they are good spirits or bad spirits, okay? Sometimes it could be good for spirits. It could be your relatives, from the other side looking over you. One time, my father's in heaven, but one time I was going through a very challenging, time in my life. And I was praying to God, and I was crying, and I was, praying. And then all of a sudden, when I opened up my eyes, there was a shadow figure right in front of me on the side of me, but it was in the shape of my dad. I knew it was my dad. And I wasn't scared at all. But you can't say that to everybody, because people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, you seen a demon?" Oh, no, I know it was my dad. So that's why I said you got to investigate it. You have to write it down, investigate. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a relative? Is it, it could be numerous things. So, oh wow, I got a lot of responses going on here. Hold on. Oh, you saw exactly what it was? Oh, you saw what it was. Okay. Okay, maybe it wasn't a shadow figure. Okay. All right. Okay. Hmm. Well, like I said, once again, pray to God, ask God to give you nocturnal night 7427. Ask God to show you the meaning of that dream. And like I said, if you have a hard time praying or don't know how to pray to God, find someone who do know how to get a prayer through, and ask them to help you to pray to God. Ask about this dream, or do some research on it. You can always, we're living in a time where we got what, AI, we got Google, but just do some research on it. You're living in a blessed era. You're living in a very informative era of today's society. So you can find what that was just from doing the research on it. So you got to put a little energy in doing some research, and you'll get your answer. You'll get your answer. Hmm. I don't know. That don't sound like that was nothing good. Mercy. That don't sound like that was nothing good. All right. Um, well, at that point, if it's something bad, then I highly suggest that you start reading the Word of God and quoting scriptures, because there is life in reading the Bible. There's life in the power in the Bible. And you have to, if it's something bad, you're going to have to speak to it to get it off. Yeah. Folks, I am coming down to 1 minute, so I have to go. I have to close out this live stream. It's about to close out, and actually a half a second. I was having so much fun, I wasn't looking at the time. So it's about to close out. But okay. All right. Hello. I wish I didn't have to go, but I have to go. But I will try to, because my camera is about to die and it's down to literally 2 minutes. So, but I will do another live stream, and I'm going to talk more about dreams, okay? So pay attention to my next live stream. It will be probably in another hour or two after I charge up this camera. And that'll be, I guess, part two. I didn't know I was going to get this much response, but I'm really happy about it. I'm really happy with the turnout. So I got to definitely do another part one or two of this. Okay, so, all right. So I'm going to do another one, okay? Yes. Yes, subscribe so you'll know when, because I usually notify when I'm about to live stream. Yeah. All right. Okay, thank y'all so much. And I will see y'all on the next live stream. This is Raising 3 in Philly coming at you.